Hello, context traders. I wanted to take a moment to go over some of today's trades with you, and in particular, wanted to go over a couple of excellent examples of the tuck and roll play when we have a down directional market. But let me begin with how we opened the day here. We started with a gap down situation, which we would say that these are very big bars, obviously, because of the excessive volatility that we've had in the last week, actually, last couple weeks. But I would consider this more of a position two opening. So we're still within some of the range of the previous day, but we have gap down. Now, position two, I'll be honest with you, is the trickiest position for me. I like a position one open or a position three open. So with position two, oftentimes it's best for me in my trading to typically wait it out for a few minutes. Um, I did get into an early trade down because of the initial gap, and I thought we might have a little gap and go. And I got into a short position in here. I didn't get a great fill. It came down and took me out at break even. And then I decided to just go ahead and sit on hands for a couple minutes. I was tempted to take this little liquidity grab below the opening structure and take this back into the range. But because we had cut below the 200, because we were seeing so much down pressure, I wasn't entirely confident, but we did have 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes no follow through. We had a nice explosion. I do think this was a good trade here. Take back into the opening range and to see how it reacted to the high side of the range. And with today's volatility, that would have been a really nice trade. You would have netted depending on where you got in around $3 move here. Um, but on a typical normal price movement day, we're not getting 1 minute candles on every minute. It might have been a uh, low potential type of trade, but today this could have worked out for you. What I really liked though was when we came back into the opening range, right? So I really like opening range, the 1 minute, the 2 minute, the 5 minute opening ranges. I really like to take a look at those and see who's going to be in control that day. And so when we dropped below, we pulled up. This should have been enough liquidity to get that move out of the opening range, get a retest and go. Because it failed here, this made me feel like we are going to at least be in the short term more of a down directional bias. And so we see strong impulse candle down. We see a wick up and drop again. And right in here, we get that tuck and roll play. And so you'll hear us talk about that. A lot of the M12 traders, we like these types of entries. Yes, you could have gotten up here for that inverted H4 pattern, but this is the more obvious. It's time to go, right? You get in here, you don't get a great fill. It's pulling back against you. You're hating life. You get in here, it's tucking down. We have the 10 EMA rolling over. The 21 is still down. We're below the 200. It's time to start printing money here, right? So we drop in here, we get short right below the 21 and the 10, and we're immediately looking for low of day, right? And so I take this trade here. It rips once it clears low of day. My style, I like to take off trims. Some traders like to hold the whole position through a 1, 2, 3. My style of trading, I like to trim whenever we break lows and highs. So we got impulse down. I trimmed here. Now I'm pulling the rest of my position to break even, right? Just below the opening range. We get one more. This bar here spooked me a little because it tucked right back into the range, but it did not close in the range. And it wicked right off the 10. So I was not real happy about that because oftentimes if we get that low sweep and it pulls right back into the range, that means we're going to reverse and go the other way. But it obviously didn't close. It just wicked, dropped down again. And then on this drop here, as we started this candle pulling back, I exited just before it canceled out the 1 minute color here. So didn't manage that one perfectly on the remaining of the position, but it was a very nice trade overall. Right, so we're in here. around 453 area, and we're out at the 450.50 area for partial trims, and then we're out for the rest of the position and just below 550 in the like 449.85 area. So really nice first trade here. Really happy with that. We see we chop around for a little bit in this area. I saw this, rocket bar off, come back up. We're trying to cut these moving averages. Um, I ended up taking this trade here on the on this bar right here, which in hindsight, maybe wasn't the greatest play, but I saw a lot of no follow through. I saw, even though these moving averages are still turning down, right? If we look over here on the 2 minute chart, it is respecting the 10. And so in hindsight, this next trade was maybe a little too cavalier, but I saw a lot of retesting in this area. We did sweep lows. I'm thinking there's a chance that we can return because of this massive up move we had the previous day. Maybe there's still some buying interest. So I ended up taking this trade as this candle was accelerating. So I saw these wicks dropping down in the zone as this open dropped as it accelerated past the open. I clicked in on that trade. It had a nice strong impulse. So I was planning for an impulse. So this is what I was expecting to see. I was expecting to see impulse, correction, impulse. Um, I was not happy with how deep this one pulled back, but thankfully, I locked in break even on this stop here. I was about to feel very foolish if this came back down and took me out, for no gain after this nice move up. But we did catch just below the 21, and we got that remaining impulse up. So at this moment in time, we're getting back into that opening range. You can see it really well here on the 2 minute chart. It's just wick, 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 wick. They all kept pushing down. So even though we're still building pressure to the upside, it's failing, right? He's just not punching through. And by this point, I'm thinking we should have seen another acceleration. We should have borrowed power out of here. We should have shot through and cleared these highs. We didn't. So I wasn't entirely sure that we were reversing just yet. I thought we could come back down, chop around, maybe gain some steam and come back up. So I exited here, initially anticipating I might look to get back in if this 21 on the 2 minute chart over on this side started to curl up. But when we got this failure again and dropped through and we chopped in here, then my spidey senses went off and I knew that this was time to start looking for puts. So we had 1, 2, 3 minutes tucking under again, under this 21. Look, we have down, we have a gap down, we have power coming down. We're testing underneath the opening range of the 5, the 2, and the 1. So here is, um, again, my very low risk entry. So I entered here on this tuck under the 10. Stop simply is just above this candle here around around 452.39. That's the stop. This is a very low risk play. Again, I'm looking for a move to low of day. Now, we got into that low of day range. So we did get a 1, 2, 3 again, right? So you could take this as a 1, 2, 3 out, right? Um, However, the fact that we didn't clear these low of day wicks, I'm thinking there's liquidity down in this range and that we have to get back into it. So I held through all this chopping here for a little bit. I ended up taking off. I held my whole position through this, waiting for a sweep of the lows. We didn't get it. So I ended up taking off some of my position right here on this candle as it was pulling back up a little bit defensively. And I was thinking, we might hold this 10 and then continue down. So I took off a little bit here, held, and then I closed the rest of my position here. So I did give back a little bit of profit on this one, but I'm still thinking the move is down, right? So I'm just looking for where's the next logical place, and I didn't want to hold all the way through this move. if it did pull back this high. I mean, it could have stopped at the 10, it could have stopped at the 21. It ended up getting all the way back into here. So I ended up giving back a little bit of profit on that trade, but it was overall a really nice move. I mean, we went from, just about around the 452 area, clear down to where I got out like 449 and a quarter for the full position, partial position in that 448.75 area. So overall, really nice trade here. I'm good and green for the day, so I'm not angry about that. But this right here is the beautiful, beautiful trade of the day. So I want everyone to pay attention to this. We did not sweep these lows. We bounced off low of day. Now, it is possible, like it's happened. I've seen it before. We could just rip clear through here. We could pull back and we could continue on. Absolutely. Right. Like this could happen. But more often than not, we don't see that reversal until we sweep the lows. That's where we're going to generate that liquidity where we can grab some of those discount buys to then run it back up with more strength. So I'm still thinking puts until we clear this zone, and I'm still probably put biased until we clear up into this zone, right? And so we ran right into here. We see on this chart over here, we're on our 2-minute hint forming, curling over. And again, this is go time. We're feeling good about this one. I jump in right here on this bar as we are dropping out of my little box area. It pulled back and I hit it a second time, added on for this one. And I'm looking to get again to low a day. We get through low a day, and it immediately starts to do this C retrace. We see this nice explosion to the downside. Sometimes coming out of that C retrace, right, we see that impulse and snap back. So I did take partials here again. So I trimmed here on this candle as it was rising. And again, my plan is any close above the 10, I'm going to exit the trade, look to reparticipate. It held the 10, continued down, and then it was just money printer. All right, we're just sitting down. Now, I did end up exiting this trade and left a fair amount of meat on that bone, but this is what I want to show what I was looking at. And so we see a nice trend, like, right, this is a little bit aggressive. It's a little steeper than 45, but it's somewhat sustainable, right? We're sustainable. Then you see how the trajectory of this last drop, it gets a little sharper and we start to create that space between the moving averages. And so when I see this rocket bar shoot down and pull back into this area, I exited the remainder of my trade. Um, and you can see, obviously, it just kept ripping down, but these are some abnormal times and not what we would typically see on normal price action days. I will say today's price action did feel a lot smoother. It didn't feel as schizophrenic as some days, even though the moves are still really big. In hindsight, I probably could have held some trailers since I was so deep in the money here. I probably could have held some trailers down into that 200 MA on the 5-minute chart. You can see we crashed right into it, but I was very happy with the profit there for the day. So I hope this helps everyone to start to visualize what that tuck and roll play looks like. And so, just again, in review, we like to see the price drop aggressively, impulse, check back under, start to hold as the moving averages are curling over, and then we see that drop. And we're targeting that low of day, right? We're targeting that next structure area for our target zone. And then if we bounce in there, we have to make a decision, right? Do we want to hold and look for a retrace and continuation, or do we exit, take the leg, and then look to reparticipate? That's up to you as a trader to decide what your style is and what you feel most comfortable with. And obviously, these plays can work to the upside as well. We can get that scoop and score look the other way, but today having the gap down, the directional moves, that's what we were playing. We're looking for those tuck and roll plays here today until the market tells us otherwise. Now, we did see a nice V recovery here, snapping back up, but I'm still down biased We could get the scoop and score here. There might be a nice set up to try to take it back to this area, but I'm not really excited about calls until I see a little bit more action to take out some of these highs, right? We want to start seeing higher highs and then pullbacks, higher lows. So this still looks to me like it's going to try to come back down again. We'll see. Um, okay, hope that helps and have a good rest of your trading day. I'll see you for the next video.